So the Nintendo Switch is finally here. Let's talk about Nintendo, nostalgia, and what facilitates that nostalgia. I was blessed with a well-rounded introduction to video games, as my dad was an avid PC gamer and introduced me to Age of Empires, Prince of Persia, and the TIE Fighter series. My sisters mostly played PS1 and Game Boy titles, while my neighbor had copies of Turtles in Time, Super Mario World, Mario Kart 64, and Perfect Dark. My earliest memory of playing video games is probably playing the second generation of Pokémon with my sisters. Nostalgia is, of course, pretty much universal, and I'm no exception. In the early modern period, homesickness was even described as a medical condition, and I guess that to many of us, Nintendo represents just that. Not a medical condition, but a feeling of homesickness, a longing for simpler times in childhood. Also, a collective nostalgia for the 80s and 90s has swept our culture in the last couple of years, and that has to help. I think that Nintendo has taken advantage of this, with their Virtual Console on the 3DS, with their NES Classic Edition, and now in the marketing for their Nintendo Switch, with many classic franchises slated to make their return on the platform. They have gone from targeting the whole family, children, although saying that Nintendo is targeting children makes me sort of uncomfortable, and now a demographic with a lot of agency online and nostalgia for Nintendo products. 20 and 30 somethings. Millennials. In his book, Convergence Culture, Where Old and New Media Collide, Henry Jenkins describes a world in which media convergence, participatory culture, and collective intelligence plays a part in the consumption and perpetuation of culture. Stories are told and shared across multiple platforms, and convergence depends entirely on people seeking out and sharing information across those platforms and among themselves. Participatory culture refers to media producers and consumers as participants in the emerging culture. This is in stark contrast with older notions of passive media spectatorship. Because there is more information about popular culture than any of us can possibly learn, there is an incentive to share the information we do have with each other. This buzz is highly valued by the media industry. You could think of it as sharing news in the schoolyard, but on a much larger scale. Notice how nostalgia played into that little analogy? Convergence occurs within us and our social interactions, and is a cultural phenomenon as opposed to a technological one. We built the NX hype machine together. This train will only keep rolling, and Nintendo seems to be doing a lot of things right. We will be getting a lot of interesting titles for the platform, and I, for one, can't wait. I'm not a games journalist, but as a fan, this time has been really exciting. I've never looked this much forward to the launch of a console before, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of it. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Switch has to offer, and I'm glad that we are all taking part in it by watching videos, reading articles, talking to our friends about it, making content, if that is a post in a niche subreddit, a Facebook comment, or a video on YouTube. I hope that the folks at Nintendo know that we're all at this point of convergence, if you will, together, and that there are many of us who would love to see them succeed. I, for one, can't wait to see what the Switch has to offer. Here's to a bright future for the Nintendo Switch. Now we're playing with power.